Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another beautiful day with us on Live with Lloyd. I am your host, astronumerologist Lloyd Strayhorn. As you see, the guest today happens to be me. I'm going to be opening up the phones to do sessions today. And hold on, let me see something here. Okay, let me remove this. Okay, let's see how we got Lloyd. Hi, everybody. Good evening. Um, anyway, we're going to be talking about what part of the month were you born in? But before we do that, there's a couple of things I have to announce, which are my sponsors, which is King Simon, who's been very consistent in sponsoring the show. I want to thank him very, very much. So please sign up for his webinars. You can purchase him out of the 3-hour recorded webinar session that he did. Also, Manifest on Purpose by Miss Kimberly. She's on YouTube. She's on podcasts, Spreaker, um, Google, Apple, whatever the podcast programs are, she is available and she is on there. Please support her. And also Jazz Aphrodite, one of our other sponsors, who is putting out a pre-order for her soft cover book, Numbers Felt, Cards Dealt. Just go to jazzaphrodite.com/shop and you can get what you like, okay, in terms of our services, which is a variety of them. Now, today is for the forecast Live with Lloyd, with the joy of numerology is the joy of learning and enlightenment. Please like, share, and subscribe. I rarely do this, but it is important, evidently, for algorithm purposes, from what my moderators explained to me. So if you can help them out, it'll help me out, and that would be great. I will not, Lloyd, Live with Lloyd, or LLoyd Strayhorn will never DM you for monies. As you know, this past Monday and the week before, I had talked about how people are evidently trying to copy the show and trying to get money from you. I do no solicitations, which is why I do that. And the irony is, even the last person who tried that didn't even have the person mind to take off that I will never DM them for money or with a message. I just don't do that. So anyway, it is February 21st. We're definitely in the sign of Pisces. The moon is in the sign of Leo. It's a 1 universal day, a 4 universal week, 4 universal day as well. So all those Aquarians and Leos and Geminis, or people born on the 1st, the 4th, the 10th, the 13th, the 19th, the 22nd, 28th, or 31st of the month, well, this is your time. Anyway, as I was explaining Monday after my guest, talking about what part of the month are you born in? You know, every Aries isn't the same, because you got some Aries born in March, you got some Aries born in April, you got Tauruses born in April, and then you got the main bulk of them born in May. Because around the 20th or 21st of each month, normally that's when there is a shift in the change of the signs. But because there are exceptions, these are called cusp signs. So therefore, you may find that, for example, a person born on April 20th, some of them, like Luther Vandross or Jerry Seinfeld or Tito Puente or Jazz Aphrodite, might be in the sign of Taurus. Then you would have another person like Hitler or something like that that's considered born under the sign of Aries. But they're all born on April the 20th. So this is why you need to understand why it's important to find out, especially when you're around the 20th, 21st, 22nd, about going to a professional astrologer, giving them the time you were born, the exact time, and the exact location, because there are different time zones, as you know. In China, it's about 11 to 12 hours ahead. In Hawaii, it's about 6 hours behind. So if you understand it and take it like that, then you can see why, yes, you may be born on this day, but it could be something else. So this is important. Now, I did give 2 examples on Monday. One was Jada Pickett and Will Smith. Jada Pickett is born on September the 18th. She is under the sign of Virgo. Will Smith is born on September the 20th. He is in the sign of Libra. So although they're both born in the same month, they're in the different signs. Another example I gave was Minister Malcolm X and his wife, Dr. Betty Shabazz. They're both born in May. They're both number ones, except Malcolm X was born on May 19th, and Dr. Betty Shabazz was born on the 28th of May. So he was the Taurus, she was the Gemini. So there is a difference. And what I'm going to attempt to do is explain that if you are a March Aries, what makes you different than an April Aries, and all the signs in the zodiac. All righty. By the way, let me tell you this too. What's the difference is this. The month you're born in numerology, there are cycles that I discuss in my book, okay? That's on page 108 of my Numbers in You book. And the cycles are in three divisions: the month, the day, and the year. The month you're born governs your formative cycle. That means how you're growing up, your childhood, your adolescence, your early teens, early 20s, things like that. And that's the part that's really begin to shape and mold us that what we become as adults, believe it or not. Almost everything without exceptions take place in our childhood in some way, shape, or form that leads ultimately to our second or productive cycle, even harvest cycle, okay? So what happens is when you do that, understand that it governs the childhood. So when I talk about a person born in March, I'm talking about your early beginnings, your early childhood. So I'm going to start with Aries. Now, Aries starts around the 21st of March. That is traditionally at or spring, as they call it, up into April the 20th. All right. So if that being the case, Aries that are born in March are normally more expressive. They're more creative. I also noticed that children or Aries born in the months of March, as they're growing up, tend to be equally influenced by a third party, not just a mom and dad, but an uncle or a grandmother or a grandfather or somebody else other than the family themselves. That's the March side of it. For the April side, which is a 4, normally they got a tough road to hoe. Okay. Normally they don't have all the pleasantries of an Aries born in the month of March. Normally there's restrictions. Normally there's some boundaries set. Normally there's a way of how they do things that they'll tell you. You know how you might say to an April Aries, well, I made you, or things of that nature. The last time an Aries checked born in April, they normally did it themselves. Okay, by their own tenacity, by their own strength of character, by their own determination. So that's what makes the difference of a March Aries and an April Aries. Now, since we're on the latter part of April now, around the 20th, 21st, like when I met Luther Vandross, he's a Taurus. Okay. Um, Other people I've met, they will be. So it all depends. Again, the year. This is why. And when you go to the astrologer, you bring them your year, not only the month, the day, and the year, but the exact time and where you were born. Those last two elements are the elements that are often missing with individuals. They will know their month, they will know their date, they will know their year, but seem like very few people, compared to most of them, know the exact time or where they were born. Maybe where they were born is one thing, but normally it's that time that gets to them. So April Tauruses normally start out rough. There are normally some restrictions in their childhood, some limitations, some misunderstanding. They work hard. They had to, really put their grind on and get things started to do what they had to do. Normally April Aries tend to be misunderstood, but as they grow older, especially when they start getting past about the 13th, 14th birthday, then they start really beginning to get a sense of where they are. Now, if you look at a May Taurus, that's a whole different energy. First of all, they're very active and energetic from Jump Street. Normally, I notice that Tauruses born in the month of May, many of them, not all, but many of them walked before they were 1 year old. You talk to your mom and dad, they say, yeah, about 9 months, you was walking, you was doing this in 10 months. So you have some late walkers and you have some early walkers. Well, I noticed that children born in the month of May tend to walk earlier. So don't forget, we were once children, now we become adults. So it's how we get started. That's why the month you're born is very important, as it shapes the direction we take ultimately up the road of life. Okay. So May Tauruses also are fast learners. They like to do things quickly. They more travel in the beginning more so than April Aries. I mean, April Tauruses, I should say. So that's what I'm looking at. So now let's go to the end of May, where there's Geminis. So this kind of Gemini born in the month of May are also fast learners, fast walkers, but also because 5 rules communications and Gemini rules communications, they normally get started by talking early, writing, whether it's on the walls or whatever the case is, but getting started with a lot of things. The June Gemini, though, normally wind up being your teacher's pet in school, your crowd pleaser. Normally, they have a very strong sense of athleticism in the early part of their life, in junior high school, elementary school, high school, whatever the case is. Because remember, the month you are born in governs up until about the 28 years of your life, and this shapes and molds everything we do when we start hitting that, not only the late 20s, but the 30s, 40s, and up until the present. All right. So they're normally fast learners. They have a very strong sense of right and wrong and justice in that sense. And they are the kind of persons who tend to be more like, and also I've noticed that Geminis born in June tend to like early commitments. It might be an early marriage, or thought they might get married early, or whatever the case, but there's a difference. Now, when you shift toward the latter part of June into the sign of Cancer, these are the ones that do actually become committed in relationships. They will marry their childhood friends, um, people they knew from grade school, things of that nature. They're very much into family reunions, college reunions, high school reunions, whatever the case may be. But that's how those cancers work. And because 6 rules the sign of home and family and health and commitments, that would easily explain it for the June side of the Cancerians after the 21st, from June the 20th to up until July. As for the July Cancers, all righty, they are the ones who are the learners. Those are the ones who go deep down the rabbit hole. Those are the ones that have a more strongly marked individuality about how they think. Those are the ones that ask loads of questions. It's not that the June Cancers don't ask questions, but when it comes to the July side of the equation, they're in the questions from dawn to dusk. Okay, that's how they do it. Always got questions about this, that, and the other. And they also have a more strongly marked individuality than the June Cancers. Now, when you get to the latter part of July, where we start hitting Cancer around the 20th, 21st, things of that nature, now we go into the sign of Leo. So these are the Leos that normally born in July, that normally more analytical when they come out the box. They're more kind of laid back when they do things. They're more independent in their way of how they do things. And these are also the signs that would tend to have more of those stranger prophetic dreams because of the visionary qualities. These are the signs, that is July Leos, that tend to be more independent in their thinking, independent in their philosophy about religion or whatever the case may be, or metaphysics, or have interest. And these are the kind of months, or I should say, July Leos, that tend to go out into analysis and research and investigation. As for the August Leos, well, those are the old souls. Those are the ones where the mama said, girl, you was born with a veil on your face. You know how you get to go to family reunion, they tell you had this film on your face that denoted, wisdom beyond your biological age. And that is true. Normally, people born on the August side of it are normally grow up faster. They normally have in their life coming up older relationships that come into the life at a very young age. So they'll be in their teens and somebody liking them almost their daddy's age and stuff like that. But they've always, one example, for example, if you read the Philosophies and Opinion of Marcus Messiah Garvey, he explained, because he was born August the 17th, so he's born in the 8th month and the 8th day. He explained then that when he was in St. Anne's Bay, Jamaica, and when he was in the fields and stuff, he was managing men it was his father and grandfather's age. But that makes sense because people in the August side of the equation are normally your old soul in the zodiac. Now, as they go toward the latter part of August and shift into Virgo, these are the ones that also come out mature too. Also, I noticed that now they're a little bit more open because they're ruled by the sign of Gemini, or excuse me, Mercury, which rules Gemini also. But Mercury is more the youthful planet, so they will take on a more youthfulness, a more vibrant part about them. They will be more active in the August side of the side of Virgo, and yet they will exhibit a lot of maturity at that age. But as they go into the side of September, these are the youth or the Virgos that normally travel more. They'll travel a lot in the beginning. They'll travel a lot here, there, everywhere, or meet people from all over the globe. That is basically how they work. You'll find that they're more in the more creative and artistic side of life. Um, I mean, once I start naming things that have to do with all the signs, but I'm going to leave it at this point. But I want to show you there's a difference of what part of the month your sign is. So when people hear a sign, they think it's just that one month. And so when I talk about your months, I'll say, but you must allow late so and so into so and so, late so and so into so and so, because your month, if you're a Gemini, don't really start in June. Gemini starts late May going into June. And so that's where the difference comes in. So with September Virgos, they normally grow up very fast. They normally grow up very mature, somewhat like their Leo counterparts. Okay, and in July, latter part of July and August is such. As you go into the latter part of September, though, when you start moving into Libra, yes, they're mature, but they're more about the more creative and artistic side, bringing about beauty and balance into their life, uh, more worldly in their thing, more artistic in their expression and whatnot. And since nine governs the arts anyway, that only brings that out more. Whether very beautiful, very attractive, the men are good looking, the women are gorgeous, those kinds of things. And they normally begin to meet people from all parts of the human family. So that is for Libyans. But then when they get into the October side, that's the side where they begin to break first. You'll find that a lot of the Libyans that are born on the October side of the equation tend to go out on their own between their 19th and 22nd birthday. It's not that the September Libyans don't leave early, but they normally tend to get a chance to travel much earlier in life, where the October Libyans tend to be more independent in their doing things and getting started and stepping out on faith and things of that nature. But if you go to the latter part of October, when you get into the Scorpio part, they too, from the Scorpio vantage, will be more liberated in their earlier part than the November ones. With the October Scorpios, they would be more in a sense of dealing with being independent, self-reliant, maybe going into law, medicine, or science, or things of that nature. Where the November side of the Scorpios, those are more your visionary people. Those are the people who are very expressive. Those are the people, and because November is composed of two ones, it's almost like having a master number 11, where they're like visionary. They're about seekers of wisdom and research and knowledge and things of that nature. That is the Scorpio side. Now, when you go toward the end of November, now we move into the early beginnings of Sagittarius. And Sagittarius is known as a very entertainment sign anyway, but I notice more of the entertainers tend to be on the December side of Sagittarius than November. So with November, for example, they would be more enlightened. They would be more kind of like in a thing where they're more open, they're more inventive in their outlook. They're more exploratory. Like James Bluford, which is the first African American to go into space, was born on November the 22nd, which made him under the sign of Sagittarius. So he was from the technological side. But then when you go to the December side, all the great comics, Moms Mabley, Flip Wilson, Dave Kennison, Richard Pryor, um, Jamie Foxx. Almost all of those comics was born in the December side. But 12, if you look at December, it's the 12th month, which is 3. So 3 rules entertainment anyway. Okay. And they will probably influenced by a third party coming up, raised or influenced by not only a parent, but somebody over and above the parent in and of themselves. Okay. So that is for the December side. But then when you get toward the end of December, now we move into the sign of Capricorn. Now there's a difference of the Capricorns I noticed versus the January side. The December Capricorns are more like I noticed, kind of like in the sports, LeBron James, Tiger Woods, some other people. They more fall in there because 3 is a very active, outgoing. Uh, I think Bo Jackson, I think that's his name. He was born, but he was born on November the 30th, I do believe. And because he had a hip injury, but 3 rules the hip because each part of the body, each number rules a part of the body, I should say. But the Capricorn side, the January Capricorn side, I noticed, like all the historians, the Black historians, Dr. Diop, Dr. John Hope Clark, Dr. John Henry Franklin, Dr. Ben Yekinen, and Dr. Leonard Jeffries, all of them, Dr. Ivan Van Sertima, all of them born in January. So those are the more historians. Those are the ones that start more the business more too, like John H. Johnson, that founded Jet Ebony Magazine Enterprises. Then you got Earl Graves that founded Black Enterprise. Those are the people. So I noticed the January side is more business. Now there is not to say that December don't do well too, because if you look at Madam C.J. Walker, that became the first woman millionaire, since we're talking about Black History Month a little bit. She became the first woman to become a millionaire in this country, Black, white, or indifferent, no matter what color. All right. But she was born on December the 23rd. But notice she was getting closer to the January side. All right. So that's the difference. But now, when you move from the latter part of into January, now we go into the sign of Aquarius. All righty. And I noticed that January Aquarius are a little bit more independent and getting started in life than those in the sign of February Aquarius. Well, first of all, they're starting out with a number 1. Number 1, no matter what it is, normally are very independent. They step out on faith. They go out on their own. And normally the rule of thumb is between their 19th and 22nd birthday. More than likely, that's when Aquarians were starting out on their own. And so then when you go into the February side of the Aquarius, they are a little more sensitive in their beginning. They could be the crybabies in the beginning. Now, it's not all February Aquarians are crybabies, but they're super sensitive, and more than likely, they're more influenced by the females in the bunch, like the moms or the grandmothers or the aunties or the sisters or whatever the case may be. But they would do well also in the world of technology, engineering, and mechanical mathematical sciences and things of that nature. But normally they are the crybaby side of Aquarius. No offense, okay? Or rather than the more January side of the Aquarius. Then as you go toward the latter part of February, like we're in now we're in Pisces, okay? So this brings up the more sensitive side of the Piscean people, more like expressive, more finicky about their eating habits and their dietary laws. And they're a little bit more psychic too, although Pisces is a psychic sign, whether February or March. But it seems like the ones in February tend to really have that more psychic kind of energies going for them. They're sensitive, they're emotional. They also do well in politics, like Barbara Jordan, who is in there, a couple other people of note. But as for the March Pisces, well, they are more creative. And by the way, 3 rules sports. So when you think of Simone Biles or think, and also some of the more creative people in the arts like Quincy Jones and Harry Belafonte. I mean, so all of you are different. All of you are very special. And we're not counting not only whether it was in the first part of the month or the latter part of the month, but all depending on what date you were born on. For example, I'm just going to start back to March, where I started with Aries. On the March side, I noticed all the musical divas are Aries, born in March. Diana Ross, Chaka Khan, Aretha Franklin. Um, I'll think of her name in a minute. But almost all of them. But you do have singers born on the April side, such as Billie Holiday, Teddy Pendergrass, Marvin Gaye. So, but if you notice how the music is expressed on the Aries side of March is totally different than the April side. of March. I mean, the April side of Aries. So there's a lot to this, but I wanted to just synthesize. I want to kind of do some readings before we close out for the weekend. But before we do, I noticed last week or Monday, I missed Jen. Her name is Jenn. They made a $10 donation and it went right past me. I didn't see it. So I don't want them to feel that they've been left out. So this is why I want to wait until we kind of got into this. So hopefully they tune in. They were born on September the 18th of 1981. If I just took those numbers, they born the ninth month, a day that adds up to a 9, and then they born the year that if you leave the last two numbers or remain the last two numbers, which is 81, that's a 9. So that tells me, first of all, this would be a Virgo 9 person, and they would exhibit a lot of strength, a lot of maturity, a lot of determination in terms of determining what's in their best interest. Because 9, no matter where you find it in a month or in a day, always have one thing in common. They want to be the masters of their fate. They want to be the captains of their ship. In other words, they don't like being bossed around. That's how that goes. Once you know the nature of the numbers, you'll understand anybody who comes in front of you. So people have asked me, Lloyd, is there a number that gives you problems? Not really. And, because whatever number you have to be as true to yourself as I have to be as true to myself. But we're so caught up into, well, this is how I roll and this is how you should roll, that we're not taking into consideration what number do they bring to the table. So all this bringing to the table, what number do you bring to the table? And do you understand it or willing to work with it? All righty. So enough said. But by the way, Jen, your lucky numbers are the 9, 6, and 5. And this year you're in an 8 personal year. So you're in 81. But I mean, you can still get pregnant because this is a pregnancy cycle. But it also speaks in symbolic terms too, like start birth to an idea or a project or a plan or, just something you've been wanting to get off the ground or bring into existence. This is your year to do that. But at the same time, it'll give you a time to do a lot of growing up, reconnecting with your past, do events such as weddings and funerals and christens and reunions and baby showers and things like that. And the chances are very good and since you're in an 8 cycle, it normally brings people back into your life because where the 6 cycle is called romance and finance, the 8 is called finance first, then romance. They're all the same, except one has priority. 6 is the romance first, 8 is the finance first. 6 is finance second, 8 is relationship second. So it all depends on which cycle you're in. All righty. So I'm going to open up, see the comments. All right. And everybody, thank you very much. I hope I expressed this. And all this started because somebody asked a question. So a lot of these ideas I'm coming up with now, discussion of people ask me, well, what's the difference between so-and-so and so-and-so? Like somebody had asked about colors. And so I did a piece on colors that was very interesting. And I always got to give props to Melanated Brown. She's always the first one to step out the plate to say, yo, what's up? How you doing? Everything like that. And it's much appreciated. And also Princess K444. And this is my moderator, the beautiful Empress Rel. And she always welcomes. She's classy, but we both Aquarians, okay? What can I tell you? So, but that's how she rolls. And let me see this. Somebody says how they finally made it to a live. Don't forget, even if you missed this, you can see the show about maybe 10 or 15 minutes after on YouTube. All right. So, okay, here we go. We got Cheryl Lee. She says the chat, she's 8/22/58. Now she's on the cusp. Now, in some quarters of the world, she could be the beginning of Virgo. In a lot of quarters of the world, she could be a Leo. So that's why it depends on where you were born on this planet at that time on August 26th of 1958, and what time you were born on August the 22nd, 1958. Have to take what I can get since you're booked until the end of May. Yeah, that's what I was told. But anyway, let me tell you this. You happen to be in a master number 11 personal year. How did I do it? I took August. I put your birthday underneath that. And underneath that, I put 2024 rather. I added my columns down. added it across, and it came out to the master number 11. So this is a cycle that doesn't come often, and when it does, is very significant, particularly for the sign of Leo. Why do I say that? Because the master number 11 is assigned to Leo, where the master number 22 is assigned to Aquarius. So that means that not only this year will you be helping yourself as a Leo, but Aquarians will come into play, Cancers will come into play, and anybody that's born on the 2nd or the 7th, the 11th or the 16th, the 20th, the 25th, or the 29th will come into play as well. And because you are in a master number 11 cycle that doesn't come often, it means take advantage of all ideas. You could be at a bus stop, get this great idea, and say to yourself, okay, I'll write it down when I get home. And when you get home, your mind is in fog city. You can't remember what it was you were doing there. So talking to your phone, I think they got things you can talk on your phone to leave yourself notes or write down some notes until you get home, and then embellish that idea. This is a time where you can capture and take advantage of those things because 11 rules elevation, thinks more on high. You get ideas that don't come from seeing it on TV or somebody putting a bug in your ear. You kind of get it from the universal mind bank. All right. So that's it. And also, it's a good time to change diet too, for you. So anyway, but your lucky numbers are the 4, 1, and 5. And your best days are always on Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday. All righty. Okay. This is, who's this? T Love. Hey, T Love. Blessings are good. Okay. Birthday is November the 3rd. What will this year be like for you? It's been an interesting start. I know that's right, because actually it tells me from the year you're born, the month and day, you're now in a 4 personal year, which is an interesting development that took place in January, where things may have taken a turn for the better, or if not, maybe in a way that you didn't like. It also tells me that back in February, the month that we're about to wrap up now, that this has been a cycle that's put a lot of emphasis on your relationships, on your health matters, on your environment, your home and schooling and education, even maybe doing something with your hair, things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Now, as you go into March, it indicates you're going to want to chill out a bit, be left alone, and not be bothered with too many people. But your key numbers are always the 3, 9, and 6, and your best days are always on Thursday, Tuesday, and Friday in that order. So I know it's been an interesting start. Things about to get, and by the way, in what's this? Since you are November, it's going to be actually somewhere around about April. That's going to be a major move with dealing with a relationship with somebody from your past coming into play. This is Darius. They are born on March the 1st. All right. They were born at 4 p.m. So that means your son was probably somewhere about in 9, 8, somewhere about the 7th house, I would say, somewhere around there, or cusping. But anyway, you are a Pisces 1, which means water and fire. And see, so when I'm reading people, there's a lot of things going through my head. Not only your sign and your number, but the elements that govern them as well. So in your case, Darius, there's a water component to your zodiac sign, which is Pisces, but then to your date of birth, there's a fire component. So how do you put those two together? And you mix them in the sense that, well, on the one hand, you can tap into the emotional and intuitive side, since Pisces is known as a psychic sign anyway, and yet have the courage, because fire represents a proactive mindset, then having the ability to carry it out. In fact, this is the same birthday as Harry Belafonte that I was just talking about just a minute ago. You know what I'm saying? So it tells me very strong will, don't look your age, and need to have your own business at some point. Thought about being a lawyer, doctor, or scientist coming up. Your key numbers are the 1, 4, and 3, and Sunday and Tuesday and Thursday are your best days. So think of STT. By the way, all these birthdays that I have can be gotten in my app, astar8.com. Okay. This person here is born August the 19th. Now, here's the difference element too, Darius, compared to this person. For example, they're born on a number 1 like you, but they're born on a different combination of a 1. Their 1 is composed of a 1 and 9 that adds to 10, which adds to 1. And then there are a fire element too. So this person is a fire sign with a fire number. Therefore, I would expect them to be more proactive than you. And it's not that they you can't do as much as them. But there are different motivational factors. It's like the how you mix your tea, how you mix your coffee, how you mix your food and whatnot. This is what the outcome is, the recipe of how things are going to turn out. So in this case, in their house, they're born in the 4 o'clock hour. So that means you probably about in the seventh house, somewhere around there. But at the same time, um, no, yes, you will be born in the seventh house. So, but it means you're strong willed, very independent, and this is your year for major moves. You are in an 8 personal year. So that means all of the things that you've been wanting to do, yearning to do, and feel you have the ability to do, but you must see it in your mind. Everything's everything starts in our minds. It's so amazing. You can have all the gifts in the world, but if mentally you don't believe it, you're not going nowhere, really. There was a analysis I heard one time. I don't know whether it's true. That how they train elephants in the circus, right? When they babies, they'll put chains around the leg of the baby elephant, so when he naturally is trying to pull, the chain keeps him in tow. So I understand as the elephants become adults, all they got to do is tie a rope around the leg. And that's exactly what they do to people's minds, where you want to break from a chain and then we've been programmed, and yet all they got to do now is just tie a little rope around the brain and we go for it. So what I'm saying, folks, is how you think of yourself, how you perceive things. And I know this is far afield, poop pop, but like, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make a point right now. But one's a very strong will, they don't take orders well, and I suggest you don't either. Therefore, your key numbers are the 149, and your best days are always on a Sunday and a Tuesday, and in a minor way, a Thursday. So let me go to the other end. Okay, this is molding clay. Thank you very, very much. You had a birthday a couple of days ago. All righty. So what that simply means is this: you are a water sign with a water number. That's exactly what that means. All right, because I think we went into the sign of Pisces this year on the 19th. I do suspect you are a Piscean. I think this is the same day as Sidney Poitier. But at the meantime, though, so with water, that means you are likely to be more into your feelings this year. Yet at the same time, you'll be going through a Jupiter cycle, numerically speaking, where a lot of things are going to open up for you. And Jupiter rules the sign originally to Pisces, although they changed Jupiter from Pisces to Neptune. They reassigned it. But the original ruler of your sign, Pisces, is Jupiter. So you're going through, numerically speaking, a Jupiter phase. So with it, you should think in terms of expanding your mindset, expanding your attitude, expanding your expectations of what you want for yourself. Okay? Do not limit yourself. Now, twos normally are very shy and sensitive. Later for that. Leave that at the door. Okay? You're stepping into another cycle this year where it's about expanding your world. And if you think of what you went through in the year of 2015, things kind of open up. The only difference is you wasn't as wiser in your wisdom and understanding as you were then in 2015 or even back in 2006, because everything is cyclical. In 2006, you were in the same cycle. 2015, you're in the same cycle now this year, except older, wiser, with wisdom and understanding that you didn't have then. So it means take advantage. It's also a cycle of self-improvement. All righty. To work on a new you, to do some things that's at a whole certain level. And so your key numbers are the 2, 7, and 3. With all twos, I always tell them they need a hug twice a day. All righty. Because they're so sensitive, blessed they so. And twos are very psychic. And because of the psyche you're in, already being born under the psychic sign of Pisces and under the psychic number of the number 2, you should follow your first feeling. Let's say you with a relationship and they say, oh, girl, you don't know what you're talking about, and that hunch don't go nowhere. I'd roll my dice with your feelings, okay? I don't care how things look, because people do lie, okay? Or fib, however you want to say it, okay? Or not always honest in their doings, okay? So that's what I see. Here is Ebony Robinson. She's a water sign with a fire number, which means very passionate, very determined, very strong will. And I noticed since Scorpio is a strong will sign and the number 1 is a strong will number, this may explain some of the challenges you might have, Ebony, in relationships from time to time where people misinterpret you as being bossy or you trying to tell me what to do, or you kind of like trying to like boss me around, all that stuff. But ones are normally leaders. They cannot help themselves. To thine own self be true to each of the numbers. Okay, that's why I have a course, and my course is on sale now too. All three of my courses are on sale right now, and I'll talk about it at the end of the show, where you could get it for less than lunch for two. You own them, and you'll see my actual voice and face and stuff. I was kind of batch when I first started. Had I, now I've gotten a little bit more sophisticated since I'm in front of a camera all the time. But I was kind of shy about it. But the wisdom is there, so don't let the shyness throw you. It's the wisdom that you want. So take advantage of it. We'll talk about that later. Um, so in the meantime, though, this particular year for you, you will be in a 11 personal year. It all depends on how I add it. And see, because sometimes I can do things in my head, and then sometimes, let me see. So if I want to find out, in fact, if you were in a master number 11 year, what I do is I put November 1st, 2024, that's 6-3. You are, you are, you are, young lady, in a master number 11 personal year this year. And what that means, this is a year to heighten your awareness, heighten your consciousness, heighten your actions and deeds by taking things to the next level. This ain't, now, if it was just a 2 cycle, which means things is real slow, not this year. This year, you should be chock full of ideas and concepts and everything that takes you to the next level. All righty. And your key numbers, by the way, are the 149. And since these are all leadership numbers, this would be a perfect time to do it. But turn on the charm, okay? Throw some people off their center. Some people might be used to you being overly assertive or very abrupt and direct. Switch up, especially with the cycle you're in. You can catch more bees with honey, goes the saying. And just be nice, be irresistible. They're going to ask what in the world got into you, but at least you'll accomplish your mission, okay? But 149 are your numbers, and your best days are always on a Sunday and a Tuesday. All righty. Let me go back. And I see some people have donated. I'm going to acknowledge all the donations too. Right now, I just want to go back a bit to make sure, because there's so many people. Excuse me. I can't get to everybody. My moderators tell me that, and I do understand. I really, really do. Let me see who we got here. Stephen Williams. I got that's now Stephen. Let me tell you, Stephen and Carol out of Chicago. His wife is born June the 22nd. All right. And so this year for her, she happens to be in a, let me see, she happens to be in a 9 personal year. That's what she is. So this is a year for her fulfilling dreams. This is a year to put things aside that she's outgrown, no longer need, has outworn its usefulness, and put it aside. See, so people always think 9 is about endings. Yes, it is. It's about closure, yes. But it's also the cycle of fulfillment, the cycle that anything that's been denied or on hold or delayed now has a way of manifesting. But if the person has this manifest on purpose attitude, which is what my sponsor show is about, to manifest what they want, they can make these dreams come true. Also, during a cycle of long distance journeys, and they'll find that this year that the people under the signs of um, Scorpio, Aries, Leo, or anybody born on the 9th, the 18th, or the 27th will assist them along their journey as well. And since she's born under a master number cycle, that tells me she can almost do anything she wants to, because the master number 22 is referred to as the master builder. By the way, she is blessed with 4 numbers. Her key numbers are the 4, 1, 2, and 7. About 96%, 97% of us have just 3 numbers. She has 4 numbers. Her numbers are the 4, 1, 2, and 7, which means Sunday and Monday. And in a minor way, Wednesdays are always her best days. Stephen, and please give Carolyn my best. And y'all met in high school. I know, Stephen, you was minding your business, right? I know you was, brother. I know how we do. We be minding our business. Anyway, y'all can discuss that later. All righty. So anyway, let's see. This is Jennifer Tabush, who's born on the 22nd. And this year, I want to get there in a mass number 22 because I know they're in a 4 personal year, but let me see something 1 second. Let me do this right quick. There's a way of how I do it. I put the month at the top. I put the date underneath. I put the year that I want to know underneath that. I add my columns down, add it across. That to me is the way you determine whether you are in a master number year. So when I did that, nope, yours adds up to 13, which is a 4. So you're in a 4 personal year, and it happened to match your birthday, which is the 22nd of the month. So that tells me right then and there that this is going to be a year about establishing order in your life, establishing a purpose in your life, establishing a direction, a plan or method of how you're going to do things. This year's not doing things on the fly, doing things by the seat of your pants. It's not that kind of party, not this year. You're going to know when you step out, why you're stepping out. When you're doing this, why you're doing this. And again, a lot of people don't like this 4 cycle, but you can't avoid it anyway because everybody's got to go through it. The fact that, first of all, you're a 4, a master number 22, which is a 4. So embrace it, but embrace it with the understanding that the work you may put in will be the compensation you will get at the end of the year. And since you were born in 72, you kind of out the old school. This newer school, which is the generation of entitlements, from what I understand, well, they will have a problem in a 4 year because in a 4 year, you ain't entitled to squat until what you put into it. Now, if you put something into it, yes, you get something out of it. But if you think you're in a 4 year and you're in that generation, I'm going to lay back and you're going to get your feelings hurt at the end of the year because ain't going to be nothing happening. What you put in is exactly what you put back. And this is a cycle of waste not, want not, lend not, borrow not. So if you can keep that in mind, that will help you too. And it also indicates you attract odd and unusual people too. Well, I know, Jennifer, they said, what was that about? But anyway, your numbers are the 4, 1, and 9, and your best days are always on a Sunday, a Tuesday, and a Wednesday. Those are your best days, Jennifer. And you're so sensitive too, bless you. So anyway, let me go back to the other side. And Lathan, me and my wife are new to numerology. Well, Lathan, let me say this. Numerology is an amazing, of all the branches of astrology and palmistry and tarot, numerology is the easiest to do. That's why I got into it. I said, man, I can count from 1 to 9. The numbers go from 1 to 9. I got 10 fingers. I got this. But I didn't understand the depths of how numerology goes. But it's amazingly simple to learn. You don't even need a GED. Okay. All you need to know how to do is count from 1 to 9. Then you just understand some of the definitions of the numbers initially, and you well on your way to that. But it's fascinating, Lathan. And in fact, when I did your name, that's okay, 10, 15, 10, 15. Let me see. Derek, you have to forgive me. My granddaughter's calling me at the wrong time. Okay. Honey, I can't answer. That's one thing when it's live. When it's live, this ain't edited. This is straight up. I'll call her back later. Anyway, so before I was interrupted, Lathan, I was looking at your name, right? So I'm looking, I see you got a number of 1s in it. And let me see if I did that right. You've got 10, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So Lathan, your name tells me that one of your parents could have been an Aries or Scorpio or Leo or born on the 9th, the 18th, or the 27th. It also tells me you have a very good opinion of yourself, and your wife will probably verify that. Yes, Lathan think he is the bomb. So whatever the case is, but it tells me you have a lot of courage, and it also indicates you can be almost generous to a fault, global, universal, but you like to be the master of your fate. All right, okay. So let me do something else. Let me see. What did Lathan say? Okay. So that was Lathan. So anyway, Lathan, that was it, buddy. Let me see. Okay. Here's what he did say. His birthday is the 28th. So you're Leo 1. That's what it is. And your wife is, now dig this. He's fire. She's air. He's a 1. She's a 1. You know what that tells me, man? When y'all having conversations, y'all keep it real. Okay. She don't mince the words, and you don't mince the words either. All right. Because you're a fire sign with a fire number, and she's an air sign with a fire number. So y'all are pretty much on the same page. So and it's interesting, your numbers are the 149, her numbers are the 149. So that tells me you either met on a Sunday or a Tuesday or a Thursday, or you're met in the months of February or April or August, or got engaged in February, April, or August, or married in February, April, and August. And when I say that, gets back to the top of the discussion. Late January is you hit February. Late March is you hit April. And late July is you hit August, your birthday month. All righty. Both of y'all are very strong willed. Both of y'all, although, it suggests too that y'all might wear glasses too, or should wear glasses. You, your left eye, your right eye late than her right eye. Anyway, but y'all got the same numbers. Y'all got the same numbers. I'd love to be a fly on the wall when you're having, shall we say, disagreements, not on the same page. Okay. Because in fact, you're in a 7 personal year. This year, you don't want to be bothered with a lot of people. And in the case of your Mrs., she's in the 1 cycle, which means she's ready to step to the plate and y'all better get up out her way. So if she seems a little selfish, it's like, honey, what's it for me? She is being as true to herself as you want to be true to yourself for laying back this year. That's all I'm saying. Okay, that's interesting. All righty. Got into this 2 weeks ago and his mind's still blown. Yeah, as long as I've been doing this for several decades. Numerology is one of the most fascinating things. And why? Because you can't do anything without numbers. Nothing. You can't transact. And I tell people, if you don't believe in numbers, can you please send me your check? Do you know how long and many decades I've been waiting to get some people's checks? Like forever, because people ain't gonna do it. They'll look at those numbers and that will go into their bank or pay their bills or buy their food or get their clothes or get their nails done, whatever the case is. I'm saying that you cannot, but that's just in the material world. But in the esoteric world, okay, it's even deeper than the material world we see. But we're just trained to look at it like the dollar bills and stuff. But if you look at it from a more metaphysical, more spiritual, more higher consciousness, you'll see that God has given to us our season. So instead of being in the wrong place at the wrong time, it's about being in the right place at the right time. And all of you have days, all of you have dates, all of you have months and years and ages that are very significant to you. And once you know that, you know how to time it and you'll be intelligent. And there's less wear and tear on your body, your mind, your spirit, your soul, and your pocketbook too. Okay. And that's why I designed the A Star 8 app, to make sure that you know how to kind of time your life. Life is stressful enough as it is without some added drama. So, download my app, A Star 8 app. Yes, I'm plugging it too. Every now and then I will plug something I got, but I put a lot into it because this is what I've been doing for clients for like 20 years. And I said, Lord, won't you make this an app? I didn't know the complications of having your own mobile app, but the overwhelming majority of the kinks have been worked out. And what I'm saying is download it. You'll find it very interesting. And I'll put it at the end. Anyway, thanks, Melanie Hall. She said she got the app. Thank you, 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 thank you. Let me see. This is from Cosmic Sunflower. She is born on the 6th of April of 1990. What is 2024 for her? Well, this year, what you did is I mentally took April the 6th, added the 2024, and it added up to a 9 personal year. So that means you're at the end of a journey. But what makes it interesting, your key numbers are the 6, 9, and 3. And 9 is your second most important number in the sequence. So with that being the case, that means that this is going to be a year for you to fulfill something that may have been denied, fulfill something that may have been put on hold, that's been on the back burners, there's been taking a New York minute to get started, because this is your year to make it happen without question. This is also a year to put aside anything that you've outgrown, no longer need, that's been toxic, non-productive, destructive, or anything that could hold you back. Now's the time to let it go and let bygones be bygones. That's the time. But at the same time, too, the third category that's not often spoke about is the ability and the opportunity to venture into long distance trips here to California, here to another part of the world, or you will find, in fact, people from another part of the world may just come and visit you. Your birthday indicates you're very beautiful in that sense. And so what people do is they will make the mistake of looking at the physical side of you, but not understanding there's a deeper side to you, like an iceberg, that you are loving, caring, sharing, got a very strong sense of right and wrong and justice, things of that nature. And your lucky numbers, by the way, are the 6, 9, and 3. Your best days are always on a Friday, followed by a Tuesday, followed by a Thursday. All righty. So this one here is Dark Dunham, and they're born on July 14th. and their self and their wifey is born on August 27th. So I'm looking at a water sign and an earth number. These are elements that are very compatible. Earth and water make for nurturing kinds of relationships. You're a 5, born on the 14th. She's a 9, born on the 27th. The one thing that 5s and 9s have in common is a love of travel. So probably when you met your wifey as such, they were probably one of the things that intrigued you. You would be traveling. Okay. 5 represents weekend trips. 9 represents long distance trips because they're numbers that are travel numbers that indicate places new, places exotic, places of a short distance, and places of a long distance. All of this I'm going to be teaching this. I'm going to actually teach this in the summer. I'm designated kind of like the summer. Then I really teach, but those who are serious about doing this as a craft, but it's not going to be easy. I'm telling you, I'm going to tell you all the drama I went through. Right now, people think I'm an overnight success, but if you knew what I had to go through just to get to this part, a lot of people wouldn't do this. In fact, I changed my mind a couple of times myself, okay? But fortunately, something in my spirit says keep going, keep going. And was the journey worth it? You best believe it. Plus, I'm nosy too. It allows me to get in everybody's business, in a nice way, not in a bad way, in a nice way that, what I'm saying, things like that. So what I want to do is I want to work backwards. First of all, I want to thank Anna. Anna, I read you before. Thank you very much. And you got a lot of ones in your name. So I know you're very strong-willed, Anna. And also, when I looked at your name, it tells me your first name tells me Pisces and um, Sagittarians will be drawn to you, and anybody born on the 3rd, the 6th, the 12th, the 15th, the 21st, the 24th, and the 30th of the month will be drawn to you. Thank you very much for the donation. I just want to run through this right quick. I just want to acknowledge that. And also, thanks for the super sticker. Let me see. I'm going to get to people. I just want to make sure I don't leave nobody out because I don't want people. And as I said before, if I miss you and you donated money, don't feel cheated. I don't know this. And I'm telling you what my philosophy is. If you want to make a donation, that's beautiful. I'm not stopping you. But if that's how you feel, when I get to you, then make a donation. All right. Because I'm not predicated about, there's some people, all they do is take just donations, say later for all other people. But for the first 2 years and a half, I had people that just tuned in regularly, like Sister Maya and Stephen Carroll Williamson and other people, Melanated Brown. They tuned in way before, and Lady E. Boyd. All these people tuned in way before donations started coming in, so I can't ignore them. They're just as important to me too. Um, Thank you very much for the $5 donation. You're born on the 5th. This is a year to fall in love or fall out of love. This is a year to go back to school, lose weight, do something with your hair. It's going to be a very interesting year because your personal cycles are numbers anywhere to 5, 9, and 6. So your personal year is in the 3rd position month according to the numbers running in your birthday. So this is a good time to make adjustments and things like that. And from the year you're born, it tells me you're going to do well off with some property or home or something of that nature. So you got to look forward to. And am I planning to get married in May? That's interesting. Is that a fortunate? That's a most fortunate time because although astrologically Taurus is in opposition to Scorpio, you happen to be in a 6th personal year, which is one of your numbers. And if I looked at your best months anyway, your months are always in April, May, June, followed by September, October, November. So congratulations. And it's a perfect time. And so I don't know when you're going to get married in May, but let it be May the 6th, May the 15th, May the 24th, or May the 5th, or May the 14th, or May the 23rd. But if it's in May, good. But try to make it on a date that's a 6 if possible. Okay. I ain't trying to tell you how to run your business. You probably got your plans already. But anyway, I thank you very much for the donations. Okay. Let's see something here. Cheryl Williams, thanks so much. She's February 19th, so she's a borderline, but she's definitely now on the 19th, just a couple of days ago. Bless your soul. Happy belated birthday, Cheryl. And by the way, the name Cheryl adds to 19. Did you know that? So you should have been a lawyer or a doctor or entrepreneur, manager, or supervisor, or director. And it tells you one of your parents was either a Leo, an Aries, an Aquarius, or born on the 1st, the 4th, the 10th, the 13th, the 19th, 22nd, or 31st of the month. It also tells me you're very direct and very honest in your dealing. So this is why people think you're cold. This is why people will sometimes call you the B word, and we know your name don't start with the letter B. Okay, it starts with C. But you are very strong when you was born at 10. 10:45 p.m. So that means you were in either the second or the third house. I think you were more into 12 midnight. Yeah, because that's on the AM side. I'm sorry. So you were born more like kind of like in the sixth house or something like that. But anyway, I know you're strong willed. This is your year for relationships. You're in a relationship cycle that says you need to take your time, and your numbers are the 1, 4, and 3. And Melanie Hall, I want to thank you very, very much for your donation. Beverly Johnson, I definitely want to thank you for Jackson, excuse me. I want to thank you for your donations. These are all small. Believe it or not, I have not this when I started with this, getting donation was the last thing I thought about. Okay, this is something with Annie. She made a donation. She says, I have divorce court tomorrow. Okay, I'm so scared. What should I expect tomorrow? Especially with that, everything starts with your mind. Can you please help? Now, for some reason, and I can't, I know you, I read you before. I think I just forgot your birthday. Oh, shucks. So I could kind of tell you. But oh boy. Anyway, let me see something. Um, I don't know, Anna. What was tomorrow? Tomorrow is the 22nd. All righty. So, what that means, here's what you can do: expect the unexpected. The best way in a full cycle is not to expect anything at all. Like, let's say you expected you're going to win all the money, you may get none. You might expect to think you're going to lose all the money. You get most of it. So try to go to the court tomorrow, since I don't have your birthday at this minute, with an open mind. Like, I'm here, let everything, let the chips fall where they may. And because in a 4 cycle or a 4 day, when you least expect it is when things go just the opposite. All righty. And so that's what I'm looking at. And so I wish you all the best. This is Juliet. Her daughter's birthday is January the 7th. That means you have a strong will Capricorn. That's exactly what that means. Yours is the 9th of March. So that tells me you're a water sign with a fire number, and she is a earth sign with a water number. So she's more nurturing, she's more analytical, and she has those deep, deep questions. And yes, she turned 24 this year, which is good because 24 is friendly to her. But next year, when she enters her 25th birthday, that's going to be equally important. And I have Empress there. Star 8. I didn't mean to show that, but that's where you go, star8.com to learn it. But this is her. So you'll have different personalities. She's in a 7 year, which means it's about getting her spiritual house in order. And you happen to be in a 2 or master number 11 person, all depending on how you add it, which means you are ready to make a transition with relationships and things of that nature. Let me see. This is Vanessa. Vanessa, thank you so much for the donation. Much appreciated. This is really nice. I do appreciate this very much. Let me see something here. Mm, Molden Clay, thank you very much for the donation, buddy. I appreciate that. And I think I did read you before. Um, okay. And my app, the name of my app is called a Star 8. I will show it at the end of the show so you can see it. Uh, and again, I can't guarantee I can read everybody because there's so many people right now. I'm just going through all that made the donations, like Call Me Jay. Thank you, December the 15th. So in the case of Call Me Jay, that tells me this year you're entering into a 8 year, a year of movement, a year of major moves, a year of getting things done on a grand scale. But it all depends on your mindset and how well and focused you are and determined to do that. Well, Sagittarians are, and you're born on the 15th day of the month, that denotes money, gifts, and favors from others. Now, I don't mean you take a laid back attitude and wait for people to bring you things on a silver platter and stuff like that. It doesn't work. You carry out your life as you normally do, but in some way, shape, or form, some form of money, some form of gift, and some form of favors will eventually come your way. That is for sure. And especially should have happened about 2 years ago when you were in a 6 personal year. But now you're in an 8 personal year, which is friendly to the 6. So where 6 was about your element dealing with your romance first and finances, this year is more, the emphasis more is on the finance. Let's get I think ladies used to say here in New York, there is no romance without finance. I don't know what they said all around the country, but I know how they roll here in New York City with this. Okay. And that's how they were talking. So you kind of in that cycle. There's not to say there's got to be some finance before there's romance, but you happen to be in one of those cycles this year. Anyway, your lucky numbers are the 6, 3, and 9. All righty. That's fun. This is fun. I enjoy this. I really, really do. And people have asked me, do I have a job? This is not a job. This is like great. And what I'm saying is, all of you have something that y'all can be very good at. Kamisha Swan, thank you so much, young lady. Much appreciated for the donations. Again, I'm trying to make sure I don't leave anybody out, like I overlooked Jen this past Monday. This is from Cinematic Brothers. Thank you, gentlemen. August the 20th, David. David, women are your blessing and your curse. In other words, they're women who love you for who you are. And if they're women that can't have you, well, ain't nothing happening. Okay. They're going to try to make life a little unpleasant, so to speak. And so, what it is you do have the gift of dealing with. So, more than likely in your career at some point, with Empress permission, you probably worked around a lot of women, had women supervisors, but women were, and if you got a daughter, I know that's a wrap. She got you around a pinky, kind of like that. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, it also indicates you're very psychic. Now, you're also born in the sign of Leo too. So you got four numbers. Your numbers are the 2, 7, 4, and excuse me, 1 and 4. That is the sequence of your numbers. It's 2 and 7, 1 and 4. So that means your best days are always on a Monday and then a Sunday. All righty. And thank you very, very much for the donation. Much, much appreciated. And let me see. Tyrone, thanks so much, buddy. Much appreciated for that. All this is very nice. I thank you all very, very much. And Name Dynasty 3-3. Okay, look at all those threes, even born in the year that ends in the number 3. And in fact, you were conceived in 1992, which is none of my business. Let me see. You were conceived in June. Ask your mother. She'll tell you, boy, how you know, okay? Because you wasn't even there. But that's when you were conceived. So you're 3 across the board in the sense that you're born on the 3rd month, born on the 3rd day, and conceived in the year of 1992. Ask your mother. She'll tell you. And this year you're in a 5 personal year. So you're at the midway point in the 9-year cycle. So this year you got to pivot. You got to make a shift of where you're going. There are going to be a lot of opportunities coming. And so you can't go asleep at the wheel. Sometimes 3s are very ambitious, but to the negative side, you got some 3s that are very lazy. I hope you're not one of them lazy ones, because you got the potential to take yourself as high as your mind will take you. So you have no excuse, okay? 3s, I notice too, like they overindulge in things. Too much ice cream, they gotta have ice cream. Or they'll go into other things that's really not in their best interest habit-wise. But whatever they like it to the max. That I can tell you. So anyway, your lucky numbers are the 3, 6, and 9, and your best days are always on Thursdays and Fridays. Thank you so much for that. All righty. I'm just trying to make sure I didn't leave anybody out. Sister Maya, that's my girl. Hi to her. She's a Virgo. And this is my girl too, Oracle. You see, I got a lot of ladies that I like, okay? So anyway, I mean, life would be boring without women, man. I mean, really, seriously, okay? I mean, dudes, it's nice hanging, but like, yo. Anyway, folks, that's just my personal opinion. I think I got one more. Let me see. I read Poo Pop. Thanks for the $5. I read you earlier, I think. I can't remember the birthday offhand. I got so many birthdays to be trying to remember. And see, there's a lot of things that's going in my head quickly. I'm trying to, and thanks Cinematic Brothers, I read you too. That's August 20th, I think, was your birthday, if you gave it to me correctly. If I can remember correctly, not that you didn't give it to me correctly, if I can remember it. Okay. So anyway, I'm a little over an hour, but let me go back to the back end second. Okay. I'm going to read Melanie Hall. I'm going to read about 3 more people. Melanie Hall, she's born October the 9th. So she's an air sign with a fire number. These are elements that are very compatible. They're co-partners with each other. And air stimulates fire, as anybody will tell you. This year for you will be a year where it is about if dreams come true. In other words, you're in a 9 personal year for 2024, born on the 9th day of the month. This, without question, is your year to fulfill all the things you've been after. This is also a year to get rid of anything that's been a waste of your time, effort, energy, and expenses. Okay, that's what it is. And also, you should think about going on some trips. Now, let me tell you, some months of travel should have been back in January. There's going to be one in May. July would be nice to go somewhere where there's the sand, sea, and sun. The birthday just before your birthday in October, that's a good time to go somewhere long distance. In your birthday month of October, that's also a trip to go somewhere where it's totally new. Treat yourself to something new. But those are the travel months. This past January, then May, then July, then September, and then the month of October would be best for you to travel. And you get along better with men anyway, too. Okay. And men in uniform tend to like you a lot too, more than you might say. Okay, this is solid that August 13th, that means you like to be different. You can't help yourself. So I know sometimes people accuse you about the kind of relationship you attract and things of that nature. Um, uh, but you like to be different. So you are air sign with a no, you're a fire sign with an air number. So your numbers are the 4, 1, and 5, and your best days are always on a Sunday and a Monday and a Wednesday. All righty. And so let me see. I think I got everybody. Oh, Icy and Sarah, thank you. They looking forward to their scheduled reading in March. Thank you. March is around the corner. And you are in a 6-person year this year. Now, because you are a 4 and the cycle you're in is a 6, that means you're going to have to make some serious adjustments because 6 rules adjustments. Okay. And what it is 4s like to think outside the box. Well, 6 is very conservative. So there will be a point where there will seem to be a bit of confusion. But if you understand the cycle and then understand it to that degree, you can work with it. There is nothing you can't work with it. This is the power of understanding. This is the power of having a mind. And what time we are so much all into our feelings that we're not into our heads. And they will tell you, and there's a crisis. One of the things that get you out of a crisis is to keep your mind, to keep your wits about you, to not panic, to go into a panic mode. And so, but in this case, though, you are different. You are a genius. You're very sensitive, easy wounded in your feelings. But this year, you're going to have to make some adjustments. And it's not a bad thing. It's a thing that, just because you can't avoid these cycles, none of us can avoid these years. Everybody will be in this year, that year. It's just how you handle it going into this year. This is where the knowledge comes in. Okay. This is where the knowledge comes in. So with that, I'm just going to read one more. As Clara Rodwell, I'm a Cancer. Don't see too many here. 7-1. In fact, I think we did a 7-1 earlier today too. But anyway, you are a water sign with a fire number. So that means very passionate, very proactive, very sensitive, very forceful. Um, it's interesting. And ones are always groundbreakers. They always do something with their lives. In fact, speaking of a number 1, this would be Ray Rich. His wife was born November 19th. Man, you ain't married no slouch. I'm gonna tell you this, Ray Rich. I'm sure you found out through experience. Women are so nice. She's nice too, but she don't play. And trying to play her, you're gonna get your feelings hurt. She tells it, as my grandmother used to say, tell it like it is. Okay. My grandmother used to play that song over and over again. Tell it like it is. Well, that's your wife. She's gonna tell you straight up what's going on. And this year, she's in a year where she's ready to make a change in the relationship, all depending on how well it's been going between you two, a change in the residence, all depending on what that environment is reflecting too, and a change at the workplace. And she needs to have her eyes checked too. And she's probably going to be changing her diet this year too. All right. So that's it. So I want to make some announcements before I get off this. I want to thank my sponsors, which is, hold on one second. Let me do this. I want to thank King Simon, who has been sponsoring the show for about the last month and a half. The brother's really great. This brother's helped me more than most people can imagine. So if they say, why are you always talking about King Simon? Well, that's my man. That's why I talk about King Simon, okay? Then Manifest on Purpose. Now, this show I tune in every Wednesday, every Monday without fail. It's always something she's dealing with the subconscious mind. And what makes it unique for me with this particular sponsor, she seems to take a page of her life and apply it to universal laws. Somewhat like, and in fact, she's a 4-person like Iyanla Vanzant. Iyanla Vanzant was known to do that. She tell a story about her life that's all funny, having you cracked up, but behind it was a message that everybody could apply for life. And that's exactly what this lady does well. So I would suggest you go to her YouTube channel, and it's called Kimberly, Kimbaley, or go to her podcast, Manifest on Purpose. And of course, one of my other favorites too, Jazz Aphrodite. Notice I got my favorites. All of y'all are my favorites, but I got really got some favorites. And these sponsors my show. They've taken the time to invest to make sure, and I want to make sure that they're properly promoted. I would suggest everybody go to jazzaphrodite.com/shop. Get your charts, get readings, get books. I think she still got her book from the inside looking in, from the outside looking in, or whatever, from the inside looking out. It's one of them. She knows what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about too. And that one's on Amazon. So, but to get this book and order it, I've ordered 2 books, hardcover and softcover. I support the system. I support all the people that I have on. And so I want to tell you this. Today and tomorrow is the last day to get all 3 of these courses for under $35 or $45. Okay. Right now, I think McDonald's is. They said McDonald's is selling something for $13. Really? Okay. So what I'm saying is, you can get all 3 of these courses right now. You own them, and you go at your own leisure. All right. They are virtual online courses. Take all 3, but you go to my website, Linktree/numbers and you. That's easier than the website. My website is LLoyd-Strayhorn.com. But if you go to Linktree/numbers and you'll see all my services, my class, my free emails, and things of that nature. Speaking of that, I shouldn't say email, my newsletter. February is almost a wrap. March will be around here before you know it. So please take advantage. And for those of you who want to know about the app, well, it is available at the Apple Store and the Google Store. When you go to your respective platforms on whatever phone you're using, just type in the word *8. Think of a star in the heavens with the number 8, because 8 represents infinity. 8 represents without beginning, without end. And that is how the stars in the universe works. We don't know how they started, and it ain't going to end no time soon. So go to *8. And for those of you who have problems loading it, you can go to *8.com. There's a specific website to make it, enter it easier. And if there are any bugs, to help me work out bugs, I now understand why Microsoft and iPhones and all these things all have these continuous updates, because they're working out what they say. They're working out the bugs. Well, I guess what? I got some bugs in mine too. So what I'm saying is, just work with it. Okay. If you want to, please let us know so I can work on improving it. Also, for those of you, I'm on TikTok. My kids think I'm the Ray with that. I understand it, but anyway, kids. But anyway, just go to TikTok. I do have an online course there just for them. Now, this is different. That's interesting. This course here on TikTok is about the same price as getting all 3 of these. This is the Learn from Lloyd series, how to read a person like a book, the next step in numerology, and the do's and don'ts of numerology. So it's the Learn from Lloyd series. So please take advantage of them. And again, take advantage of downloading the app onto your phone. And you'll see. See, I only talk about your good numbers, but on my app, I also talk about your stress numbers. I'll do the daily cosmic forecast that you get to see every day too. And for those of you who are into audiobooks, like my sister, bless her soul, Numbers in You, my best-selling book of all times, is on an audio version too. And for those of you who are in the podcast, well, I do have a Numbers in You podcast too. So that is about it. I look forward to talking to you all very, very soon. Let me get rid of this. So everybody, thank you. I hope I was able to explain what's the difference between a March Aries, April Aries, April Taurus, May Taurus, May Gemini, June Gemini, stuff like that. There's a difference of how we start. And so this is why there's so many variety of things. And let me say this. I'm going to say this too. The God in me loves the God in you. Yes, I picked this up from the Manifest on Purpose sponsor, Miss Kimberly. And only because, if you realize, we're all made in God's image, as they say, but we don't act godly like. And I never understood, if one of the tendencies, thou shalt not kill, why is all this drama going on of taking lives and killing children and animals and women and men? I mean, really? Somebody ain't been reading their Bible, or somebody ain't been reading their good book. I don't care what you call it. So what I'm saying is, the God in me loves the God in you, which means that I recognize within you your God. okay? That all of y'all are divinely special. And I'll say this in ending, from a biological point of view, the fact that it took millions upon millions of sperm to go after one egg, and you and I became a result of that meeting of that one sperm and one egg, you can't tell me you're not special. It's just your attitude of how you look at yourself. And with that, I'll stop running my mouth. Okay. But I'm very serious about this. We really need to get our act together and fall in love with each other. But more importantly, fall in love with yourself. That's where the love first starts, within yourself. And it took me a while to learn how to love myself. I ain't gonna front. It wasn't easy. Okay. So I'm just telling you, everybody, thank you. Have a blessed day and a great weekend.